Hello, and thank you for joining me in this Empower Charts training. In this video, I would like to give you a brief overview of the Empower Charting features and explain to you how you can work with Empower Charts. First of all, we're going to start with an overview of the Empower Charting features and where you can find them. On this machine that I'm working on here right now, I only have Empower Charts installed. If you have Empower Slides or other features of Empower installed, you will find Empower Charts within the Empower ribbon. But right now I'm going to switch to the Insert section of PowerPoint, and here you can find the Empower Charts menu. Empower Charts is an add-in for PowerPoint and inserts automatically once installed. Here you can find the main functionalities of Empower Charts all combined in this menu, and we're going to take a look on each of them within this training video. First of all, you can find the prominent Insert Chart button, and this is where you can find all the charting types that we offer you here as a starting point for your work. And in a minute, we're going to insert a chart like that. But there are also other functionalities available within Empower Charts. First of all, you can find the Agenda button here. And once you click here, you have the possibility to create an agenda and edit it within the agenda editor. I'm not going to go into detail on how to create agendas because the focus of this video should be the charting features. Moreover, you can find layout tools here, and these are a combination of different buttons and functions that can help you arranging and formatting your slides. Moreover, you can find the share button right here that can help you to save and send your presentation in different file formats real quick. Of course, it is also possible to use the spelling checks right here. And what we can find right here is also an Empower Charting functionality, the Excel links. Here you can find all the functionalities that belong to connecting your charts to Excel files. The button More shows all the other options that we have here. We're going to take a look on the converting function in this video and the customizing features, and you see that you have also many other functionalities right here, but we're not going to go into depth of them. The chart's user settings can be found under More as well. You can find them here, and these are just settings set for your user individually that you can define depending on how you want to work with Empower Charts. But now we finally want to jump in the real work with Empower. First of all, we're going to create a new chart. Therefore, I simply select the placeholder that I want to put my chart into, and then I click on Insert Chart. In this example, I'm going to insert a stacked column chart, for example, and simply click on it right here. And as you can see, a chart is automatically inserted, fitting perfectly into the placeholder, and it is comprised of simply default data that can be used as a starting point for your work as well. But now we want to edit this chart and create the chart that we would want to do. First of all, there are two major ways on how you can edit and work with your chart. First of all, it's possible to simply select an element within the chart. So I simply clicked on this column right here. And as you can see, there's an overlay menu appearing directly next to it. And here I could, for example, change the color of this bar and maybe highlight it with a bright orange color. The colors that you can find right here are part of the so-called customizing. So these are set up as a defined collection of colors that are corporate design compliant. And you can see that the chart is initially also created using these specifically defined colors in the first place. There are different ways of customizing that can be used, and we're going to take a look on them in a minute as well. But what I wanted to show you right now is how you can select many elements within the chart and work on them directly within them. The other way on how you can edit your chart is using the menu bar that is appearing above the selected chart. We're going to take a look on these menus step by step, but in most cases, the first thing that you're going to take a look on is your data, because obviously you probably don't want to work with the default data that is present right now. Therefore, I click on the button Edit Data. What is opening right now is the so-called mini Excel window, which is simply a way to have all the main Excel functionalities available real quick, and you can simply type in right here, add your numbers. I'm going to use a pretty simple example right here and simply add a few more numbers to my chart and insert them like that. I'm simply pressing enter, and as you can see, everything is changing automatically within the chart. If you would like to use the whole set of Excel functionalities, you can simply click on this button right here, and then a new Excel window opens. So this is like the normal Excel window where you can find all the Excel functionalities. But in most cases, the work with the mini Excel is completely fine, and you find the clipboard, insert, delete, format, and table functions within this menu bar here as well. Now we're going to take a look on the different menus that we can find in the menu bar. The lines menu allows you to insert arrows such as growth arrows or compound annual growth arrow that shows the average growth above of selected years. You can insert a delta line showing the difference between two values, or a value line like that. And I think the insertion and the meaning of these lines is pretty self-explanatory. It is important to know that you can only select and insert one value line. You can define every settings for these value lines in the automatically opening settings window that is appearing here on the left side. You can move it around as well and simply define the settings for your value line. The default setting is that an average value is calculated, but you could also set a value of your choice. And as you can see, once I have this value line selected, I have the settings window, and I have also the overlay menu where I can format my line, edit the line style and give it a different color, and so on. It is also possible when we select different elements within the chart, as you've seen right here with the line, when we want to edit the color of it, or when we want to edit the color of a bar or the whole series. You can always select from the customizing colors. So these are the corporate design compliant colors. And if it is activated, you can also add custom colors for yourself. So these are user defined by your user and are up to your choice. And then they will be listed here, and you can manage them right here as well and add the colors that you want to add. More options that we have in the lines menu are breaks. You can insert value access breaks. So breaks if you have very big numbers in some cases, that can simply help you to make your chart more visibly appealing and more easy to understand. You can insert category breaks on your category axis right here. You can choose if you want to show connector lines or not. The connector lines are these lines that connect different values, different data points. And you can define if you want to show horizontal and vertical grid lines in the background of your chart. As we've already seen, it is possible to select the data labels individually in the chart. You can select also multiple data labels within the chart by simply pressing Control and then format them. Maybe you want to highlight them as bold, or you want to use a different label type for these. But it is also possible to change the data labels globally for the whole chart and adjust them via the data labels menu. I'm simply closing this window right here and moving to the data labels menu. Here you can define if you would like to show column sums or if you would like to show negative column sums at the other end of the chart so that they would be visible right here, which is what we're going to do later in this video as well. Here you can also define the primary value axis, as we're only using one value axis in this example concerning the number format and scaling. And if you, for example, switch off the data labels completely, then you see they are completely invisible in the whole chart and you don't have to select each of them individually. You can also define custom data labels right here where you have all the different options available and you can create a very specific label also using free text elements and other elements for your data labels. In the series menu, you can first of all define which series should be shown in your chart. So it is possible to deselect a series and then it will not be visible. However, it is still present within the data and can be switched on at any time. You can change the type of your series from line to column if you want to create a mixed chart. However, it is also possible to insert a mixed chart from the beginning by clicking on the mixed chart button right here. And it is also possible to change the fill color of a whole series within the fill color menu right here. And if you have series that use very different value ranges, if you have, for example, one series that is presenting percentages and one is presenting big absolute values, then you can also use the different axes. So you have the possibility to create a second value axis, and this second value axis can have a whole different set of value ranges. Within the property menu, it is possible to change the font size, bar width, and depending on the chart type that you're using, different properties for the whole chart. The common feature of the legend is available here as well. You have the possibility to place your legend within the chart, for example, also on the left. So now it is present right here. And you can also put it to the right or also put it outside the chart and move it anywhere you would wish. If you would want to format your vertical axis or horizontal axis, you can do this right here. Right now, I could, for example, switch on the value axis and then I can format it and define minimum, maximum, and the interval steps within this menu window. And once I have the value axis switched on, then I can also click on it within the chart as well, and then define the settings via the overlay menu as well. And another very useful feature that you can find within the properties menu is apply to all charts on slide. To show you this feature, I prepared a slide that has 2 charts on it, and these charts have different sizes and use a different scaling, and this makes them a bit hard to compare. So when we take a look on them, I used the exact same values to show you the problem in this case, because you have a bar right here, a column, that shows the value of 100, and here you have a column that shows the value of 100 as well, and they are of completely different size and thereby quite hard to compare. And when you take a look on the properties menu, you can click on apply to all and power charts on slide, and then you can select either the same font size, which would be 10 in this case, or you can also use the same scale and size for all charts that are on this slide. And if you click here, you can see that the chart is automatically jumping up and automatically becoming the same size and is using the same scaling as the other one. And this is very useful if you're working with multiple charts on one slide. Of course, this is a very easy example, but I think it is the best way to understand the feature. When we take a look on the properties menu as well, you can find the button change customizing. And as I've already explained, we have this customizing blue present right here. And this is the whole set of definitions concerning the colors that we can find here, the fonts, etc. So everything is defined within this fixed customizing. It always depends on what is set in your company. If you have such a customizing present, sometimes you might also have different customizings available that you can choose from. And in most cases, you will also find the option Use PowerPoint Master. In some cases, you might only find this version. It depends on what is set in your case. But I wanted to explain this Use PowerPoint Master customizing, because this is what we call a flexible customizing that adapts the colors and settings from the currently used master. So if you're working, for example, with another master and want to use the colors that are set up there, then you can simply do it and click on OK, and now you can see that the colors and everything is changing to the colors that are set up in the master that I'm working with right now. It is also possible to change the customizing for the whole presentation at once. Therefore, you go to the Empower menu right here, as I've already done, click on More, and then you can change the whole customizing for the presentation like that. And when we take a look on the data menu right here, you can see that you can define the order of your series and categories, etc. And it is also possible to create an Excel link, because in many cases we have Excel files present that show the data that we want to work with, and you can use the already present data from Excel with such an Excel link. And there are different ways of how you can create such an Excel link. The first one I've shown you right now is to simply create a chart and then go to the data menu and click on Excel link. You could also go to the Empower menu and then click on Create Excel link right here within the Excel link button. But there are also different ways on how you can create such an Excel link, and therefore I will open an Excel file right now to show you how you can also start with an Excel. And as you can see, the Excel file is now opened in the background, and here you will find in the Insert section of Excel also an Empower menu. So I can also start with an Excel and select the range that I want to work with. I can use the whole table, or in this case, I only wanted to use this range selected right here. And then I can link this range to a new PowerPoint object or to an existing PowerPoint object. I want to create a new PowerPoint object in this case, and then I can select the chart type that I want to work with. Maybe I'm going to go with a clustered column chart in this case, and then I can click on a placeholder or click and drag to define the location where the chart should be inserted. And now I'm simply selecting this placeholder right here, and now you can see that this is how quickly I can create such an Excel link starting within Excel. It is also possible, which is a very easy and uncomplicated way to create an Excel link, to simply select the range in Excel, press Ctrl and C, so I'm copying this Excel range, then I'm selecting the chart that I'm working on right now and pressing Ctrl and V, so I'm pasting my data. And now you can see, of course, we're using a different chart type in this example, and this is how differently you can visualize your data depending on which chart type you're using. And then I could also work on it as well. When I'm going to the series menu, I could also convert my chart to another chart type that is fitting for my my data. And you can also see that we have now different orientations concerning the series present. So right here, the series are the different parts of the world, and my categories are the time quarters. And in this example, we have our series as the time quarters, and the different continents are present as categories. So this is what you could also define within the Excel link settings. To change the Excel link settings, you can simply go to the data menu and then click on edit Excel link. And here you can define if your series should be arranged by rows or by columns. In this case, they're arranged by columns. And this depends, and these are the columns in my Excel file. And if we take a look on this chart here, then we can find that our series are now ordered by rows. It is also possible to select refresh data automatically on open. This is a very useful functionality because every time you open the presentation, all of your Excel links will be checked, and if there are any changes happening in the Excel file, then they will be automatically transmitted to PowerPoint as well. And when we take a look on the Excel link button within the Empower Charts menu, then you can also find the Excel link manager right here. And this window gives you an overview of all the Excel links that are present in your presentation, and you can work on them, you can change the path type, the way they should be refreshed, and you can also see the status of them, if the status is ready or if maybe the link is broken. The next thing I would like to do is take a look on special chart types that we can find within Empower. I want to insert a waterfall chart on this slide right here, and I'm going to start with the multi-stacked waterfall. This is like a very complex kind of a waterfall chart, and you can see that Empower has this default data, and what I would like to do right now is take a look on the data structure of a waterfall chart, because it is a bit different from a normal column chart, for example. Therefore, I simply click on Edit Data, and now you can see that we have the two series present here that are shown in different colors within the chart. And then we have different points on our category axis, and then they will be summed up whenever I want to. To create a sum, as we're seeing at the place of total 1 and total 2, you simply have to insert a column within your data and type in an X. And this X means that Empower will calculate the value of the previous points that are present within the chart. If you would want to create like a new start for your waterfall, as we're seeing right here at point 3, we're starting at 0. We're not going further steps from the previous data points, but we're creating a separate waterfall within the same chart. And to establish that, you simply have to insert a column into your chart and then type in the keyword new like that. It is also possible to set this new start at a defined value. So I could also type in 100 afterwards, and then you can see that this start of my new waterfall is just moved up to the value of 100. And this is how easily I can reach something like that. And when we're taking a look on different kinds of charts, there are also, of course, different possibilities on how we can work on them and what options we have present in our series and properties menu and so on. So in our menu bar, we might find different options depending on the chart type that we're working with. So when we're taking a look on the series menu of my waterfall chart, I have, for example, the possibility to set one of the series as on top of the waterfall. So I'm simply maybe using series 2 right now, and now you can see that it is placed on top of the chart, and that it is also not present within the calculation of my chart. So I have 800 minus 200 makes 600 right here, and the values that are not of series 2 are not put into the calculation as well. So if we're maybe taking a look on probable values that are not completely sure, then they can be visualized like that. It is also possible to define a different fill color if you're taking negative steps in our chart. So I could also say like, okay, right here, I want to highlight that this is a negative value, and also remove this feature right here. Moreover, concerning a waterfall chart, I can reverse the waterfall direction within the data menu. The next special chart type I want to show you is the Gantt charts. Gantt charts are a very useful way for managing your projects, to gaining an overview of different tasks. And here you can find a typical example of such a Gantt chart that shows different elements that Empower Gantt charts offer you. You can find the header right here that is comprised of several elements, a year, months, and weeks in this case. And we have different phases that we see in bold right here, and then you can see that one phase comprises different tasks and milestones. We can highlight parts of our Gantt chart, insert a date line, and so on. And the note section right here in my Gantt chart allows me to add different elements. Right here we're using Harvey balls to visualize the status of the different tasks, and we have traffic lights as well. I could also insert checkboxes here or free text elements. So we can see here we have also the free text elements available, where I can simply type in something to show, maybe to give a note concerning the status of a selected task. On this slide, I quickly want to show you how you can create a new Gantt chart, and it's pretty easy. I'm going to select the placeholder first where I want to insert my chart, and then I'm going to click on Insert Chart, and within the section Other, I will find Gantt charts right here. And here you will find the so-called Gantt wizard, which is basically a settings window where you can set different settings for your Gantt charts, and it is important to know that everything that you define right here can be changed afterwards as well. So here you can define the date range using the calendar or simply typing it in right here. You can define the regional settings if you want to work with for the German region or maybe English or something like that, and then you can use the desired date format depending on the region. So if I'm maybe using English in the United States, then you can see that we have different default date formats available right here. And this is how easily you can set these right here. The header settings will also be calculated automatically. If you want that, you can use these recommended header settings, and this always depends on the date range that you're selecting. It is also possible to switch this off and then add, for example, the year or something like that. And if you want to show weekends when you're using the days or not. Here you can define if you want to show phases and the notes area like that. I'm simply switching one column on, and then I'm clicking on OK. And then based on the stuff that I defined within the Gantt wizard, a blank Gantt chart is now created. And now I can simply click into my charts, drag and drop to create a few tasks, or to perform a right click, and then you can see what you can insert, like here, maybe a milestone for this row, maybe a few tasks here as well. If you're simply clicking add task right here, there will be like a default range of time for inserted for the chart for this task here. And as you can see, and as you might already know from the other chart types that we're taking a look on, you can click on the elements, you can format them within the chart, and you have the menu bar above the chart where you can define the header settings afterwards. And within the properties menu, you can also change everything that we've just selected in the Gantt wizard. You can say, I want to maybe use 2 notes columns, and so on. the Gantt chart has a very unique data structure, and if you would like to use Excel links for your Gantt chart, it is recommended to simply insert a generic Gantt chart and then copy this data range from the mini Excel and use that as a starting point for your work in Excel to make sure that you have all the columns that you might need. And when you click on help, also every columns that are needed for a Gantt chart are explained in detail so that you can find explanations for them. And the last topic that I would like to talk about is converting charts. It might be possible that you have maybe PowerPoint native charts that are coming from the past, or maybe charts from other charting. It might be possible that you have PowerPoint native charts present that you would like to convert into Empower charts because you would like to work with the whole set of functions that Empower charts offers. Or maybe you're using or you have used a different charting add-in in the past and now want to convert to Empower charts. And this can be done really, really easily, and I'm going to show it to you right now. Right here in this slide, you can see two charts present, and they are PowerPoint native charts. And when I select one of them, I can click on Insert Chart, and now you can see that Empower automatically selects the fitting chart type that might fit to the data structure of my chart, which is a clustered column chart. And now Empower converts this chart to an Empower chart, and you can see that Empower now uses the colors of your customizing, and they are of course corporate design compliant, and this is how easy you can make also a PowerPoint native chart corporate design compliant. And you can see that Empower uses all the information present in the original chart like that. So this is a very easy way where you can simply select one chart and change the chart type to an Empower chart. It is also possible, especially when you're working with different charts on one slide. I'm simply reverting the conversion process on this slide right here. You can click on the More button in the Empower menu, and then you can click on Convert All Charts on Slide. And what Empower will now do is Empower will create a copy of the existing slide and convert the charts present on the slide to Empower charts. And the advantage of this process is, first of all, you don't have to select each chart individually, but you can also compare the results. So you can say, maybe I want to resize my chart, or maybe there's something else that I want to add. Maybe I want to work on my axis so that it has the same range as in the original chart, or something like that. So this just helps while converting and checking the results. It is also possible to converge all charts in the presentation, and what Empower will do then is Empower will create a copy of the whole presentation and then convert all the charts within the presentation. So whatever function you used, all slides, or convert all charts on slide, or convert all charts in the presentation, you will always keep the original charts and can compare the conversion results. Right here, we can find a waterfall chart that comes from another charting solution, and I will convert it with my with the convert all charts on slide function, because I want to check the results afterwards. And then you can also see that also these complex charts can be converted pretty easily with Empower charts. And after the conversion, I get a little conversion notification right here, which is simply a note that can be deleted afterwards. And here you can find, for example, the information that the Excel structure has been changed a bit to make the appearance of my chart exactly the same as it was built before. So Empower has added, for example, the new columns right here, and you will find this in the mini Excel pretty easily. And then you can compare the results and see if you want to change something, or if you want to change a color or something like that. And this is how easily you can convert existing charts to Empower charts within in most cases, just one click. And this was the main overview of the Empower charting functionalities. Of course, there's so many more functions that we couldn't take a look on in detail, but now you know how to create new charts, you know how to link them to Excel files, and how to work with special chart types such as waterfall chart, Gantt charts, and how you can convert existing charts to Empower charts as well. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this video helped you to understand how you can work with Empower charts.